will journalist groups, bodies, unions and all that finally start taking media prizes away from stories that have since proved to be false? Last night I talked to former Liberal MP Andrew Laming. He'd been falsely accused by many media outlets of committing a crime, photographing up a woman's skirt. He's been given apologies. Yesterday he got one from Channel 9. Plus, it's reported more than $1 million. But that false Channel 9 story won 2 big journalism awards. The Walkley, which is a top journalism honour, and Journalist of the Year in Queensland. Joining me is Sophie Elsworth, media writer for The Australian. Sophie, thanks for your time. Will the Journalists' Union now take back these awards?
Well, Andrew, this remains up in the air, and they've basically said they're considering reviewing this, but at this stage, there's no move to do that. And I think this is a problem we're seeing repeatedly with awards, where journalists win these awards, some of them the highest honours in the country when it comes to journalism, including the Walkleys, but they seem incredibly reluctant to take the awards off the journalists when the story is proved wrong or factually incorrect. And this is happening time and time again. There's not a clear appeals process or strategy in place to deal with this type of situation. And Andrew, we're seeing this happen more and more, repeatedly in recent years.
Well, yes, we saw, it's not just here. I mean, the Pulitzer went in America, went to New York Times and the Washington Post for stories that have proved false, that Donald Trump was colluding with Russia. And here, of course, we've had ABC journalist Louise Milligan. She won a Walkley for a book falsely smearing Cardinal George Pell as a pedophile. She also won the top award from the Press Council, which of all things is the media policeman, wrapping us for bad reporting. How come she hasn't had those awards taken away? Because I would have thought the Press Council in particular would feel shame at giving an award to someone who had promoted a myth.
Well, I think, Andrew, they need to determine with these awards at the time when the story runs, is that when they win this award, or is there a matter for it to be disputed down the track if it's proven the story is false? In this instance you've just described, and also with Dr. Andrew Laming, as we saw with the various reports on him. But it seems that down the track, the media bodies seem very reluctant to do much about this, because it's a bad look for them too, Andrew, to hand out awards and then take them back. And we saw this happen with an award recently, the Melbourne Press Club, where they gave it to a journalist, they took it back off him when the story had issues with it, but then they gave it back to him. It was an utter shambles. So they've really got to work out a clear process, because this problem is arising time and time again.
Well, I don't want to hear the Press Council reprimand anyone in future for crimes against journalism, while it still honours someone who I think has done the wrong thing in the Pell matter. The new king, King Charles, is trying so hard to reunite his sons. I think this is amazing, really. Prince Harry and Prince William. King Charles had them go together with their wives to inspect flowers outside Buckingham Palace, despite the fact that Harry and Meghan Markle had written all sorts of trash about the family. He also had Harry and Meghan come to Buckingham Palace to greet the return there of the Queen in her casket. Now, that now puts Meghan Markle in a terrible bind, Sophie. How can she keep trashing the new king in her podcasts for Spotify?
Well, Andrew, this is Meghan Markle's modus operandi, is to trash the royal family. Now, her podcast has been put on hold as a result of the Queen's death, but this is how she makes her money. Her links with the royal family is why people talk about her. Remove that and no one would be talking about this nobody actress from a TV program that many of us have never heard of. Now the podcast teams are going through rigidly through these upcoming episodes to make sure that she's not trashing the royal family. Well, she should hang her head in shame, Andrew, that it takes the death of the Queen, should I say, for Meghan Markle and the podcast team to actually go, oh, hang on a minute, we shouldn't be trashing the royal family. Shame on her. And I think she's been an absolute disgrace to the royal family. And as you can see with all the reporting, she's got so many enemies. You know, the British do not like her, and even the Americans are turning against Meghan Markle.
Well, it's interesting. It also puts a dilemma for Harry, because he's signed a huge deal to put out a book, memoirs, which apparently contained truth bombs about his family. It was due out, I think, probably around now. It was already delayed. Now it seems it will not be released until after Christmas. What's going on there?
Well, this is now in doubt, as you've just explained. Again, Harry's no better than Meghan. Those two are as bad as each other. They're making money out of trashing the royal family, and I think it's utterly disgraceful. And the fact that they're over there now trying, in a way, it appears, or at least King Charles is trying to repair the damage. Now is the time for these two to stop being greedy money-wise, put their financial interests behind them and actually mend the way here and repair the damage they've done to the royal family. They've done immense damage, Andrew, and I think it's incredibly shameful and incredibly disappointing from the two of them.
Yeah, I just wonder what they're doing there, whether they're actually extending the hand of friendship and reconciliation or just gathering more material. I think that's probably the issue there. Sophie Elsworth, thank you so much indeed for your time.